Welcome to Our Scars Speak. My name is Christina Miner. I am the host of this podcast. And before we begin, I'd like to give a disclaimer that you are listening at your own discretion. We are not telling you to change your treatment plan or go see someone that we suggest or something that happened to us. We're not suggesting you should do it at all. You're listening at your own discretion. We are not telling you to change anything. Always adhere to your treatment plan. So without further ado, tonight we have Crystal Leach. I'm really excited about Crystal because Crystal is real. I love Crystal and her personality. She's just real. She's straightforward. Y'all are going to love her. I know you are. And we met through IG. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we met through IG. Instagram seems like the place where I meet everybody. But Crystal, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. So let's just get right into it. So Crystal, let the audience know, who is Crystal? How do you describe yourself?
Crystal, let's see. Crystal, I describe myself as a love-warming, kind, caring person. That's who I am.
Okay.
Yes.
And that
strong and brave, without a doubt. Yes.
Absolutely. So Crystal, of course you're up here because you've had breast cancer. And we're definitely going to get into that story. But before breast cancer, as we both know, there's life before breast cancer. We didn't, say, oh, well, we're born with breast cancer and, our lives started with that. So if you could just tell people, what was life like for you before breast cancer? Whether, if you want to go back to some things in your childhood, whether or not cancer was, like in your family and you had been familiar with it. But what was your life like?
So I'm gonna go a little bit further back to childhood because I was born a fighter. I was literally born to crack cocaine and weighed 2 pounds. So when I was born in fight mode already. I'm not gonna go into all the details of my past too much, but I was given up for adoption. I was in an orphanage. I was adopted at the age of 5. Unfortunately, the adoption did not go well. There was, sexual abuse, physical abuse, and then I became a product of the state of Florida. So I was put into foster care and I basically ran away because they're putting me into homes with men, which I just got out of a home from abuse. So to make a long story short, I pretty much ran the streets of Miami. I joined a gang. It was either you join a gang or you go into prostitution. And obviously I'm not going to do that. So pretty much until I was about 17, I was on the streets living in, fight mode.
So your whole life has been just fighting. So you said that your biological mother was on drugs.
Yes.
And okay. So now I get it. Cause see, everybody a lot of times, don't share that far back. It's your story. We can share as much as we like.
Right.
I like the fact that you shared this because I'm the same way. Like a lot of people ask us like how you fight so hard through breast cancer. It's like when you've been through hell already. Like, not to say this don't hit you hard, but like you know how to fight. You're used to fighting.
And that's why I want to share my story, because it's not just about breast cancer. As a survivor, and as you know, your past helps with the situation that we have now, believe it or not. And it might sound crazy to some people, but I've been fighting since I was born. Actually, I've been fighting since my mother conceived me because she was smoking crack cocaine with me. She told me, she showed me a picture. She literally weighed 85 pounds with me. Wow. And believe it or not, I was 2.5 pounds. And so look at me now.
But you're a miracle.
Yes. Yes.
Your purpose to be here.
Yes. I believe that without a doubt. I believe that without a doubt. Like, no questions asked. God has me here for a reason. I am one of his chosen for sure. I believe that in my heart. Without a doubt.
We don't just go through things. I feel there's always a reason behind that. And a lot of times, as you know, a lot of times people be hating on certain people because of they may see where you are now, and it's like, but you don't know what I had to go through to get to.
Exactly. I didn't come from a loving family. I didn't have a mother. I didn't have a father. I didn't have all of that. I have that now with what I made with my children. So where I come from does not define who I am. Okay. I have tattoos. I've done things I probably shouldn't have done as a child. You know, hey, they left me in the streets. There was no love for
Mhm.
me, so I had to defend myself. But I know in my heart, God forgave me for the things I've done, right? And here I am today to tell other people you can go through so much in life, but yet you can go so far as well. You can evolve, you can keep on going. There's no, oh, feel sorry for me. I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here for anybody to say, oh, Crystal, wow. No, I want you to like, wow, that's an amazing story. So if there's any women or men out there that are struggling or going through the same thing, mental depression, anything, you can overcome it. Like I want them to know there's faith, there's hope, there's so much out there. But you and I both know, because we've talked before, that nobody really talks about that,
Mhm. They
right?
don't. And that's why, like, our scars speak, it's not just about the breast cancer scars, because there was life before breast. That's why I always ask about what was life for you before, because
Yeah,
there's scars there.
there's scars there.
And those scars are still very significant,
Yeah.
and to help not only ourselves but other people. I have a question. Now, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but when you mention about the system and how at that time, let's say, because I'm not going to speak for now, but in that moment, far as your experience, we're not talking about nobody else out there, anyone who's listening,
We're
any
talking about
social
Crystal.
workers or anybody like that. We're just talking
Yes.
about Crystal and her perspective of what
Mhm.
she went through as a child. Do you feel at that time, do you feel you were failed by the system in which you were receiving foster care in?
Without a doubt, yes. Without a
Okay.
doubt. Yes. You took me from a home. First of all, you did not believe what my brother and I said, because there was three of us, first of all. Well, my mother had five. So three of us were given up for adoption. So when she signed the papers over, excuse me, she said, I would like to keep my three children together. So when the couple came to adopt us, they saw on my sister's paperwork that she had already reported molestation in one of the foster homes. So at the time I was 5, so she was 8. So they took us to Disney World. And before, for the adoption, they have to do home visits and everything like that. And she threw me in the pool. I almost like died in the pool. But those were her instincts to tell, like, these are bad people. Well, guess what happened? They said, we're not going to take her. We're only going to take Crystal, and we're only going to take her brother. And they left my sister.
Mm, okay.
So, with that being said, the day that they did that, my sister was supposedly to go to a park so they wouldn't see the people taking us, the couple. And she happened to pull right up, and I'm like, where are you going? She's like, where are you going? I'm like, you're my sister. And at 5 years old, that's all I ever remember. I will never
Okay.
forget that vision of me and her hugging and basically saying we're never going to see each other again.
Mm,
And
wow.
I didn't understand, but they were telling us, oh, you're going to see each other again. But that's a whole nother story, because I ended up finding
Yeah.
her,
Oh,
but
good.
the system did fail me 100%. Without a doubt, they did.
And so you went all those years in and out of foster care, and then at 17, you pretty much were you're on your own. Well, I guess you were pretty much on your own prior to 17, but I guess officially, is that what you're saying at
Well,
17?
so okay, so when I got pregnant, not intentionally, something else terrible happened. Um, and I ended up moving to New York. I was actually a runaway on an airplane, and I went to New York City by myself at the age of 17, and I had my first son by myself.
Wow.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
made it up there. I survived up there by myself.
Okay.
Again, I am Crystal is a person Crystal can go anywhere, and I'm going to make it. I am going to make it because that's just where God puts me at. Like, I went up there, I met a few people, they showed me the ropes of New York City. I started working and I just made it. I came back to Florida because my son was severely asthmatic. The doctor's like, you need to go back to Florida. Otherwise, your son's not going to make it up here because the air is totally different up there. So at the age of 5, I moved back. So I was up there for what, 6 years?
Oh, so from the age of when
From
he
the
was
age of when he turned 6, we moved back to Florida. So for like 7 years,
Okay.
I was up there.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you did all that, that's that's a story in itself.
Yes.
Yeah. So 17. So from there, like was cancer part of your life? I guess you really
No,
probably didn't
because
know
I
because
didn't know
you didn't know
any of
your
my, I
background.
didn't know my, I knew, so I met my mother when I was 12. But again, the relationship was very rocky. She was still on drugs. I just was looking for that mother love. I was trying to forgive her. It wasn't until recently that, through therapy a couple years ago that I had to really accept that my mother really never loved me. Like it's reality, um, a parent does not love a child and offer them drugs in order for them to stay. I was 13 years old. I'm looking for a place to stay. And the only way I can stay is if I do cocaine with you. Like, are you crazy, lady? So it was a lot of things that through therapy, I had to learn, like, that's not what a mother's love is.
Right.
So again, she had health problems, but never did we ever hear the word cancer until my birth mother overdosed at the age of 49.
Okay.
And that's when I heard the word cancer through her sisters.
Oh, okay. So what was that like for you when
I
as far as
just
like
didn't even think of it. I was still
yeah,
young. I was still young. So again, when you come from where I come from, you're not really into, you don't listen to stuff. I didn't know about mammograms until my doctor told me at 40.
right.
I would have never went for a mammogram. I didn't know anything about that. So when I heard the word cancer, I was just like, oh, they had cancer. Oh, okay. And just really didn't say anything. And through my sister, I talked to my sister through my biological father, and she never mentioned cancer either. So I never really thought of anything until you start filling out that paperwork.
Mm. So when your aunts were speaking to you about cancer, who were they saying had cancer? Were they
My
saying,
mom's sisters,
oh, they all had cancer before?
they had ovarian cancer.
Okay.
All of them had their ovaries taken out, like I believe from what they said by 25, 28, they were all very young. So they had ovarian cancer. And I believe only one person down my mother's line had breast cancer.
And you know what? That's so true what you're saying, because to be honest, I don't know if, well, obviously you were the same way. I've worked in the medical field and everything, but I wasn't around a lot of cancer patients. So even
Yeah.
about gene mutation and stuff, I didn't learn that until I got cancer. And it was like, oh, and I didn't learn about all the different types that were out there. So for you not having that connection and not actually being guided in life in certain aspects as far as your health and everything, I guess it was sort of like, okay, you hear the word, but you just kind of like, oh, okay, they had cancer, they're doing better now, and
Right.
that's it.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that was what, almost, let's say 18 years ago, my mother passed away. So think about 18 years ago. Like, where were we at with the cancer
Right.
18 years ago? It really wasn't a topic. Like you said, it was oh, that's cancer. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, they had cancer. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Now it's cancers everywhere.
And I remember back in the day, I would see people wearing pink, but honest to God, this is so stereotypical. I always associate it with, oh, older women wearing pink because they survived. And I didn't
Mhm.
think younger people having cancer of really any type of cancer.
You
So
don't, you're
yeah,
right though, because you look at it like older people, but now that you and I both know in the clinics and going into the hospitals, you find younger women, you're
Mhm.
like, hey, what's your story? And, we're talkable people. So I'm always going to talk to people, and I'm like, how old are you? You're 28 with stage 4? Wait, where are we going wrong? Why are we telling women at 40 Why are we telling women at 40 to go for mammograms? Right? Why? We should be going sooner. That's how I feel, because I've run into women who are not even 40 years old yet, and they're with cancer, breast cancer.
Wow. So given that you heard about this through your aunt, as far as like there's some type of, you probably didn't, of course,
Mhm.
think genetic mutation, because it's like,
Mm-mm.
heck, you didn't know nothing about it.
Nope.
So did you, given everything that happened in your life, did you start going to get your PAPs and your breast exams done at an early age? Just the regular breast exam that they usually.
So I would go I would go to the GYN all the
Okay.
time, and they would tell you to do the self breast exam. And I will not sit here and lie and say, oh, I did it. Because I
Mhm.
was like, why do I have to do that? That is so silly. At 21, at 25, at 30, even when I had my children, did you do a self examination? I'm like, yes, I did. No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Right.
You raised your arm and I'm like, yep, sure did. No, I didn't. I
Mhm.
can't sit here and tell a lie. I didn't, because I'm like, that is so silly. Because then you don't think about it. You're young and you're not thinking about it. You're like, why am I checking myself? I'm 25 years old, or I'm
Right.
30. All I kept hearing was, you have to worry about that stuff when you're 40. So that's
Right.
kind of like how I did it. I was like, I'm not going to worry about that stuff right now.
Right.
And I
Because you didn't
didn't,
have to. Right. It's one
because I
less
didn't have
thing you have
to.
to think about.
Right. Something I didn't have to think
Yeah.
about. So I was like, oh, I'm good. I'm not even going to worry about that. When I hit 40, I'll do what they say. They say, do your mammogram, your annual mammogram. So that's what I did.
So when you went, so I guess the only check that you had, as far as your chest, would have been when you went every year for your PAP and they
Yeah.
checked your chest.
Yep.
So at what point, I guess, how did you eventually discover I don't know if you had a lump, if you had bleeding, like what was your story far as actually finding cancer or
Okay.
finding a lump?
So let's see. We're in 2024.
Mhm.
Okay. So 2022, I went for an exam. And they're like, okay, we see something. We just want to go ahead and do a biopsy. So I said, okay, let's do a biopsy on the left, right? So we do the biopsy, and she says, what is she? I'm trying to think. We did the biopsy. Oh, it came back benign. Everything was benign. Everything comes back fine.
So hold on just a second. How did you, okay, so 2022, how old were you?
I'm 48 now. So 40, 46,
You're 46,
46.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you were just going for a regular, was it just a regular mammogram, or did you feel
Well,
something?
at the age of 40, they're like, okay, you have dense breasts. So
Ah,
you're going to come every 6 months to 8 months to get your breast checked. Starting at 40, I was going every 8 months to a year.
wow.
And
Okay.
then as I got, I would say 44, they said, no, we're going to start seeing you every 6 months. I was like, okay. Cause they started like, what do you call those little things? What do you call those little cysts? You know, the cysts that bust?
Was it cyst or was it oh, cyst? It must have been,
You
you
know,
said
them,
cyst.
you know
So
how they go away by themselves? They're like, oh,
yeah,
you have a cyst here. It's going to go away by itself.
right.
So cystic, what do you call those breasts? Like cysty breasts?
Fibrocystic breast.
No, they didn't say fiber. They were just like, you have like, she said sissy breasts. I'm like, sissy breasts? I'm like, what is that? I have a lot of cysts, but they're not there. So they'll come and they'll go
Uh,
away. So like, you know
okay.
what? We just want to start seeing you every 6 months. So
Okay.
then we're going to go to 2022. They find something. They're like, let's just do a biopsy. That came back benign. So they marked it. Now, maybe 6 months later, same year,
Hmm.
she sees something else and she's like, you know what? She said, I'm gonna do a lumpectomy on this because it got bigger. The same spot got bigger. And she's like, I'm gonna
Okay.
do a lumpectomy and I'm gonna take it out and then I'm gonna test it. While I have it out, I'm just gonna go ahead and test it. I said, okay. So I was in Tennessee. I'll never forget it. My daughter has a softball game. We're traveling, and I get the phone call. Don't be alarmed. It's nothing serious. You have LCIS. So I was like, what is LCIS? Well, that's just pre-cancerous cells. But that gives you a 60% chance of developing breast cancer. But don't worry. I said, okay. So I
So
found
was
a
that
new job.
I'm sorry, was that lobular carcinoma in situ?
Yeah. LCIS.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
just putting words together.
Yeah, and they said back in the days it was cancerous, but now it's called precancerous cells. So I didn't have cancer, I just had precancerous cells.
So it's localized in the
Right.
lobulars,
Right.
like DCIS is localized in the ducts. That's what I'm
Right.
thinking. Okay.
Yes, yes, you're exactly right what you're saying.
Okay.
We're gonna put you on tamoxifen. You're gonna be on treatment for 5 to 10 years. Don't worry about it. So my best friend of 25 years, she's an oncology nurse. She's like, you need to get a second opinion. It's always good to get a second opinion and be your biggest advocate. I'm like, okay. So I get a second opinion, and all the paperwork you have to fill out, and I didn't even tell them that there was cancer. The first night I didn't even tell them was cancer in my family because it slipped my mind. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Right.
This little old lady, the sweetest little thing, she's like, just put that you had family cancer. You'll get tested. It's better that way. And I'm like, wait, I did. So I'm not actually lying. I'm telling the truth. So
Right.
I just marked breast cancer. I did say breast cancer. I was like, I don't even know what cancer. I don't remember. It was been so long. So I just marked breast cancer. So my doctor, my new doctor, she's like, LCIS, breast cancer in the family. She's like, first thing I want to do is check you for a mutation. I'm like, mutation? This is all new. Nobody ever said anything to me about that. So should we do the genetic testing? And sure enough, I had the CHEK2 gene.
Mm.
So I have the CHEK2 gene and I have LCIS. And I love my doctor with all my heart and soul. I love her. And she goes, my love, you're going to have to do it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. She's like, I recommend you do a double mastectomy. Like, you need to do this.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I don't have cancer. I went back and forth. I was like, I'm too young. Like, these are mine. Like, oh my God, I can't do this. Back and forth with my husband. And he's like, I want you. I don't want them. It's about your health. But I'm going, he's like, I'm gonna do whatever you want to do. So I was like, I'm not gonna do the surgery because I don't have cancer. I'm gonna go on the tamoxifen and I'm gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because who wants to hear that you're gonna lose your
Right.
breath, right? That's Nobody wants to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
So within I was diagnosed, April, right? April, I told you April 2023,
Mm.
right? Yes. Yes, April 23, I was diagnosed. I went for a mammogram and I knew something was wrong this time. I just knew it because they were taking forever. I'm like, something is wrong. They're taking forever. And I'm just like, God, don't go with yourself, Crystal. Don't be like, if it does come back, you shoulda, coulda, woulda. Don't do that to yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came back stage 1, invasive ductal carcinoma. So
Invasive
now
ductal. So now it's not even the lob, it's ductal.
it's ductal. It's stage 1,
Yeah.
invasive ductal carcinoma.
Huh.
So on
Okay.
top of that, the LCIS, stage 1, and a mutated gene. So of course I had to say, okay, what am I gonna do? I have no choice but to remove them. It
Mm.
was the hardest thing to do, but I wanted to live.
Mm.
So I had the surgery August 16, 2023.
Wow. Didn't you find me through?
I
Oh,
found you
I think through
Instagram. I found you through Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah, because I think I can't remember if you had the surgery. Or
I
you,
had the surgery and I was
yeah.
looking to talk to somebody because I am a flattie.
Right.
So I was like, I needed to find somebody that can understand me and help me feel better because, we both know at the end of the day, nobody really understands, right? Unless they really have to go through this, and I needed that comfort from somebody and I found you. Thank God. See, God works in mysterious ways. Um, and for everyone to know, this is a bra because I am flat under here. This is a bra. I did not have reconstructive surgery. Thank God for my best friend because my choice, again, like you said in the beginning, my choice of why I didn't. I have LCIS, I have a mutated gene. If I'm going to have reconstructive surgery, they were going to take tissues and fat cells from my stomach and put them back where I had cancer. So you want to live or you want to have breasts for what do you want to do? She said. Well, she basically told me, you're going to stay flat and love it. I was like, okay.
And you know something, sometimes when people remove, which is nothing wrong, if y'all want to get deep flap and the other flaps, that's fine. But I know some people have a hard time. I think for some of us, if because tissue can die and it can ball up, scar tissue already balls, you know, you have issues with scar tissue and you can't sometimes differentiate what's a lump and what's scar tissue. And sometimes when you have fat necrosis, it's like something extra to have to. For me, mentally, I was like, yeah, whatever I can do to minimize any other type of lump to make me
Of the
think.
stress of thinking about it, because you're
Yeah,
always thinking about, and then I had one spread to my lymph node, so it already metastasized. So that's already scary in itself because you're still thinking about, oh God, I hope it didn't go anywhere else.
right.
You
Yeah,
know,
because you don't want it to metastasize. That's, you know, we try to avoid all stages. I mean, you know, the best of
right?
our ability. And, you know, at the same time, we don't want cancer to come back.
No.
And so I think sometimes we try to exhaust all means of being able to protect ourselves. Like however we can protect
Mhm.
ourselves, we go to that extreme. Because some
Yeah.
people ask, like, why'd you do that? Why'd you do this? And it's like, that's what I felt for myself to make me feel comfortable enough. Yes, it's always going to be in the back of my head, I think, like, oh, what if, you know, or
Mhm.
could it come? And it cancer can come back with anyone,
With anyone, yeah.
but we really try our hardest to eradicate it as much
No,
as
we
possible.
do. We do. And my reason for staying flat is because I don't want to go through that stress. I don't. I had surgery and I had on my left, I forgot what it was called. It swelled up. It got
Oh,
infected.
did you have seroma where it's like fluid in?
Yes, yes, yes. So then
Painful. Oh, painful.
I had to go to my doctor, my surgeon who she did a wonderful job. My surgeon did a wonderful job on me, where she had to cut me there in the office and de-drain it. And it was the most disgusting thing because I'm like, what is that? She's like, sorry, you're gonna have to go home and change. I'm like, oh my God, that was gross. But literally it was like this big,
Mm,
filled. So for me, and like I know my body. I've had multiple surgeries. I've had C-sections and I get infections. To
mm,
do the surgery that to do reconstructive and to have breasts is like a 17-hour surgery. It's two surgeries in one.
yeah. I think some people have gotten it in 14 or so, but it's still long surgery. Like my
That's
surgeon was like,
still a
I'm not
very
doing it.
That's still a very long time to
Yeah,
be
under.
under the knife. And again, I'm not even calling my best friend. That's my sister from another mother. She was like, you're not doing it. So she basically made the decision for me.
Oh, did you have any other treatment that you had to go through? I heard you say it didn't get
Yes.
to one lymph node. What was
Th-
your other treatments that you
I
went through?
had to have TC chemo.
Okay. Is that the
I
Red devil or no? I don't
Yes,
know. It is.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. So, they wanted to do 4 rounds.
Mhm.
I thought I was in the clear. I swear I was like, no, no chemo, radiation. Doctor's like, no radiation. But my doctor was like, I need to make sure because it metastasized. So we want to make sure. And I was like, okay.
Did it
So my
metastasize or did it just go to one lymph node? Because
and
metastasis
it's
is usually everywhere.
no, no, no. I'm sorry. It went to one lymph node. It
Okay.
went to
Okay.
one lymph node. They took out 13 and it only affected one.
Okay. Okay. So thank God it
So
didn't.
thank God it didn't metastasize.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting
No,
me.
I was just making for sure because I was like,
No,
did
no, because you're right. Because that we don't want that word. We don't
no.
want that word. Um, let's just do the chemo. I was like, okay, 4 rounds. Um, I didn't expect it to take a toll on my body like that, the way it did. I started the day after Thanksgiving.
Mm.
That Friday, they're like, you're coming in. I'm like, great. Um, they told me the side effects. And of course, I'm the one person that's going to get, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that get every single side effect.
Oh, wow.
Um, for my children and for my husband, those are my,
It's okay.
excuse me for a minute.
You're fine. Take your time.
They were there for me. They saw me cry, the pain, the cries, and they couldn't do anything for me, and that's the worst part, is that if you don't know what it's like to be in a home with somebody who's going through chemo or radiation, you don't know anything really what the pain and what we go through. Not only us, but your family who's there
Yeah.
that, that
Mhm.
can't help you or take the pain away. You know, but I would fight. I would get up every day and fight because I had to do it for my children. I had to do it for my husband, and I had to show the world that Crystal is a fighter, and you're not going to get me down. It's too hard to knock me down. So my last round, I had my third round, and I'm going to leave it like this: that I was bleeding from places you should not be bleeding from. And I said, I know my body. I'm like, I feel like I'm going to die. And I got on my hands and knees in my closet. And I prayed to God. I was like, God, if this is it, this is not how I want to go. I'm not even happy. Like, this is not how I want to go. I don't want to go like this. Please, please, Lord, I'm begging you. I'm going to quit. I'm going to walk in there and tell my doctor I quit. I'm going to be a quitter, and that's fine. You have to accept it. I will accept it. This is how I'm talking to him. And I'm like, that's what it's going to be because I can't do it. And I told my husband, I said, that's it. I told my husband, I said, I am not doing the last treatment. It's going to kill me. I'm not going to do it. And he's like, I support you, whatever you want to do, whatever it is that you want to do and you feel, you do it. So I went to my doctor. I made the appointment to let her know. Well, they actually made the appointment because I was bleeding, right? So she comes in and she looks at me and she goes, she always calls me my love. She's like, my love, you're done. I was like, God, thank you. Thank you. You always hear me. I'm not a quitter. Woo, I'm not a quitter. She's like, you're done. We're gonna do 3 rounds, and she's like, you're done.
Wow.
So I that fourth round, I couldn't. I was like, this is gonna kill me. My body. I had to have a shot for I forgot what it's called, but it's like goes into your bone. It's for you get the chemo, and then the next day, no, 2 days later, I go and get this shot. I forgot what it's called. Gosh, it helps with your blood count so it doesn't go low. And the
Okay.
side effect of that is you can have every bone in your body, like your face. Every bone in my face hurt.
Mm.
Every bone in my body that I have, I felt like an old lady. It hurt so bad. But I'm here.
Yeah.
I lost my hair. That was a devastation in itself. I had beautiful long hair all the way to the back. But it's just hair. Look at it now. It's growing back curly. I never had curly hair. I think I look like Betty Boop. Um, Never had curly hair, so I love it. Everyone says that I look great. Sometimes I feel it, sometimes I don't because we have our days. But I made it, and that's what's important. I'm here to tell other women and men, because we both know that men can have breast cancer as well, that it's a journey. This is serious. It's no joke at all.
Did you have to go through radiation at all?
No, they said no.
Okay. I thought that's what you said. I just wanted to make for sure. Oh,
Yes.
wow. Well, you made me cry. Thanks.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Didn't want you to be alone. Like, I'm a crybaby here lately anyway. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
but,
Thank you.
but no, that touched my heart because I felt that. I didn't go through chemo, but I know what it feels like having a whole family involved. They can't protect you. Shucks, you can't
No,
protect yourself. It's a lot.
it's a lot. And my children who live at my home, they know. My daughter, my 2 sons, and my husband. If it wasn't for them, I really wouldn't have been able to do it. First of all, if it wasn't for God, them, and I have amazing friends. I have amazing friends that have turned into family, that
Mhm.
support me and always lift me up and always tell me good things. Like before this, I was telling a few of them, I'm so nervous. And they're like, no, you got this. You're a warrior. You're a queen. What are you talking about? Everybody loves Crystal. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm nervous. But, if it wasn't for that and the love that you receive from people, I don't think any of us could make it. I feel bad for the ones that I've witnessed that sit there by themselves. I want to go and sit with them because I witnessed several people doing chemo by themselves. Could you just imagine you're sitting in the chair for 5 hours by yourself? By yourself. Nobody's there for you. Nobody's there to talk to you, nothing. There's a lot of people who are alone going through this. And if you are alone and you're watching this, call us. Just we're there for you. Seriously, if you're alone, if you're local in my area, I'll come sit with you. It's sad to see that people actually go through this journey alone.
Yeah, it's gut wrenching.
It is. It really is.
Any disease. When my sister,
Any.
yeah, when my sister was going through it, she was getting a liver transplant, and just her process through it all. And I'm like, God, and you would see people in the hospital by themselves, and it was just so gut wrenching.
That's crazy that you said your sister. My sister received a kidney transplant, and
Oh
I was
wow.
there and I witnessed it. Like,
Yeah.
it's insane how many people in this world go through health crises by themselves.
Yeah. And then it's also sad to see like the caregivers, they don't have support that they need. Um, it's just really sad. So I love
It
the fact
is.
that you have a heart for wanting to help people the way that you do.
I
And
do.
I'm so thankful we met. I'm so thankful you reached out because you're just
Me
a
too.
sweet person. You are so sweet.
You saved me. You're the one that I admire. You're the one that you're strong. You're a warrior. I'm not ready to not wear this right now, right? One day I can only hope to be like you. And that's the truth. To just embrace it even more and to be able to walk outside and hey, I'm a Flattie and this is me. And either you love it or you don't. So I admire you.
Girl, it ain't easy sometimes. You can feel people looking at you like, okay, is she a female or is she a male? Like you can feel those things. And I'm
Yeah,
sure, those thoughts have gone through your mind. Like, what if someone looks at me different or what
of
have
course.
you?
Of course.
But I think it's like our whole entire journey is an individual thing. And
Yeah.
we're subject to even make different changes and choices, and that's our right, and that's the beauty of having that freedom
Mhm.
to decide what we want versus having someone to tell us
That's what we
what
want.
they think, right?
Yes, exactly.
So yeah. So what has life been? So you went through all of that. Thank God you had a supportive family, supportive friends. What is life now like after, I don't know, like after the treatments were over? And the reason why I say now, and you know how I feel about this, I never say after a lot because a lot of people think when we use that word after, a lot of people are like, oh, you're great now, you're fine, you're perfect, you're healed. And it's
It's not
like
true.
some of us say no evidence of disease or cancer free. Some of us say still in treatment somewhat. I'm still taking pills or whatever. I always say now because I never want anyone to get the thought process that this is something that ends. It's something that we always have to keep an eye on as far as our health if
Mhm.
we choose to. Now, some people just want to be done with it and they don't even do anything else. They don't go back to the doctor, and that's their right. But for a lot of us, we do continue to go back to the doctor. So it's not something that totally ends. It's not something that, oh, I went through treatment, I'm healed now, I'm done with it. No,
No, no.
even just the psychological part of it all. But so after the treatment, and you're not on tamoxifen,
Yes, I
or you are, okay, okay.
Mhm.
So how long are you on tamoxifen for?
5 to 10 years.
Okay,
So because of the mutated gene, because of the LCIS, they want me on, the tamoxifen, which I'm on.
okay,
I see my doctor for the next 3 years, every 3 months, right?
okay.
I'm having a little complications from the chemo. The chemo can give you neuropathy, unfortunately. And guess what? It gave me neuropathy. Even though I froze my little feet and my hands, it still gave me neuropathy. Now, on an everyday thing, nobody knows that because I smile. Nobody knows that I'm in pain. My husband is the only one that knows every day I get up and I'm in pain. My arms, my legs hurt. But again, I'm that person who will not lay in the bed and feel sorry for herself. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to my kids' games. I'm doing all of that because I'm not going to lay in the bed and just feel sorry for myself, but unfortunately, I have to have a bone density test, I have to have all these tests done, a PET scan, and really you have to keep up with it because it's a scary word. That word cancer is there. And in the back of your mind, I mean, I just finished chemo in January of this year, 2024.
Wow.
So it's not like it's been years and years. Even if it's been years and years, I still feel like you're still thinking about it at the back of your mind. You're always going to wonder, is this C word going to come back?
Yeah. And then, we both of us are very active in the breast
Yes.
cancer community. And that is like,
Yes.
it's in our face all the time.
Yes.
It's in our face
Yes.
on social media.
Yes.
And someone, one day they had DCIS, the next day it's now found in a stage 4 or
Right.
they've passed. It's like, it's always there.
It's
But
always there.
it's like, dag, I don't know about you. I'm sure you feel the same way I do, but it's like, yeah, we could stop doing what we're doing. But then it's like, okay, when you feel called to do something, you have to do it.
Yeah,
Or you're gonna go
I feel
crazy.
like we have to do it. I
Yeah.
feel like we have to be in this because I feel like other women need to hear it. Other women need to know about it. Other women need to hear other stories because there's other women who could benefit from us, right? I benefit from you. I reached out to you. Someone's going to reach out to you. Someone's going to reach out to me. We're here to help. I think that's our calling because I believe that God gives his strongest battles to his strongest warriors. And I'm one of them.
Yep. You
I'm
are.
one of them. I
That you
really
are,
believe that.
man.
So
You
I
are.
know that my calling is for this. Like of all the things I've been through in my life, and I never questioned him. I don't want to sit there and say I was like, God, really? Like cancer? Breast cancer? Dang. It's kind of harsh, God. Like, all right, okay. And now? And
Let's
now I'm
go.
like,
Yep.
what are you going to give me next?
Mhm.
Not disease form, guys. I'm not saying that. What what battle are you going to give me? What do I got to do now? What do I have to conquer now so I can show you that I can get through that one too?
That's interesting you say that because I remember sitting on that daggone bathroom floor mad. I went through every emotion possible that night, the night that I found out. Um, I was angry, I was mad, I was sad, just all these different emotions. My mind even went back to the abuse that I had endured as a child. And but all I could say was, what do you want me to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew that it wasn't my own. It was something that was going to come from it. I always say my story
Mm-hmm.
is my own. And all I heard was share your story. And that night, that same night, I went on and I started sharing my story. And that's not everybody's story, but I do know when I hear you talk, a lot of times it's like, okay, it's interesting how God will use cancer to bring us to people who not only are dealing with cancer, but then you get to know them a little bit, and it's like, Dad, you got a past like my past was. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
God took breast cancer to get us to a people that also have other like mental health issues or abuse issues.
Youth issues, right? And
And
it's
then we're able to help them and be used to help them with everything, not
that
just one
exactly,
thing.
not just one thing.
Because cancer can trigger the other things to come back and be like, shucks, like you said, I've been through all this stuff. Now here this is yet another battle. And everybody don't take the next battle like some of us do.
Right.
It's not saying we take it
Agreed.
really great, but we just pray about it, and we try to, just battle it through his strength.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we try to do because people could look at you and me and like, oh, they're just, breast cancer survivors and they're flatties, but they don't know our past. They don't know what we've been through. Um, and I'm glad that you told me that. I remember you telling me about your past too, because your husband's name is Richard. My husband's
Yep.
name is Richard. My adopted name is Christina, but
Yep.
my birth name is Crystal. We have a lot in common. And I just feel like we were meant to be together to do this. Like it's gonna bring a lot of awareness for not just for cancer, but for mental, because like you said, it takes you back to a childhood. You're like, really? Like my childhood, like, you know what I went through, guy. Why are we going through this? Like, seriously, you're on the floor, you're angry, you're mad, you're crying, and all your emotions are everywhere. And then you sit back and you're like, all right, got it. 10-4, Captain. Just suck it up and let's do this. And that's
And
what we did. And that's
yeah,
really how you think about it. You're like, all right, okay, I guess
yeah.
that's what you're gonna do. And he's just telling you, yeah, Crystal, yeah, Christina, this is what we're doing. And what are you guys gonna do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna lay down and cry about it? Or are you guys doing what you're doing right now?
Right. And the beauty of it though, I think, like I heard you talk about like how your husband knows, like your husband knows he sees your tears, he sees the pain, he sees not only the pain, but like your down moments. Cause a lot of times, when we have children, can't do that. Like we have to,
Yeah.
we have to
Yes.
get them through whatever they're getting through. Um, but I think sometimes we have to acknowledge that, okay, it's okay to take a break, take a moment, take a breather, because life can sometimes hit you like 1, 2, 3 punch, like over and over and over
Yes.
again. And it's like, oh, okay, I got to take a minute for me.
Yes.
So anyone out there listening to us, don't think that we don't have those moments where we're like, oh, got to back up a little bit.
No, we have them.
Yeah, and cry or just get still and let God minister to our heart and those who come into our life. So yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Like, don't think that we don't have those moments, because we do.
Yeah.
We do. We do.
It's
It's
hard.
real. It's hard. And then you get right back. You're like, okay, I'm okay. Hey, Crystal, were you crying? No, I wasn't crying. I have allergies. I suffer from allergies, and anybody listening, yes, I did lie to you guys a few times, but I love you guys. But, you just don't want anybody to,
Yeah.
you just don't, I'm not looking for sympathy. So when I have my moments, I do it by myself, because that's not what I'm looking for, but sometimes you do still need some people to check on you. Like, a lot of people fail to realize that I had my surgery 3 weeks later. 3 weeks later, I'm at my son's baseball game. 3 weeks later after my surgery, a double mastectomy. They're like, what are you doing? I'm out here. I'm here for my son. I got to show him that I can do this, because I want him
Wow.
and my children to know that whenever they go through anything in life, look what your mom did. My mom was out there at 3 weeks having her boobs removed, and she's out here in the state stands screaming, let's go.
Yeah, I did that too. When you just said, I was like, dang, I did the same. I didn't even think I had expanders. I remember because I couldn't breathe. They were so tight in my chest. But I was at a soccer game. It was so cold. All I remember, it was cold. My chest was cold and it was hurting, and I was in
No, it
so
was
much
it was
pain.
hot. I live in
Oh,
Florida. So
oh
it
yeah.
was hot, and I had the bra on.
Oh,
And that's what caused the swelling, because where I got the prosthetic breast,
mhm.
I wasn't supposed to wear them just yet.
Oh yeah, because you're not supposed to put them on.
You're not supposed to wear them. And then that's how I got the infection. So I was like,
Yeah.
well, they should have told me. So I
They
was like,
didn't
wait a
tell you
minute.
that?
So no, they did not tell me. Not my
'Cause I can't
doctors.
remember. I
Not
can't
my
remember how.
doctors. The lady that I went
Right.
to, she told me, what? Oh. So I'm at the game. It's like 90 degrees. And I got the infection because of that, because she told me to wear them.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
can't
don't
remember
wear
how.
them.
I don't want nobody to quote me. I can't remember how long after
It's
surgery, but I know
supposed to
it's
be
not.
6 months. My doctor told me. She's like, 6 months, Crystal. And I was like, oh, did not know. Sorry. 6 months.
Oh wow. Yeah, I don't know if mine was that long, but I just know I remember them telling me do not put it on yet because they wanted.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get measured for a while
Yeah, because of
because
the pressure.
yeah, because they were like your body's gonna change and stuff.
Hmm.
Oh, I
But
hate
I'm that
that.
type of person where I was cleaning anyways. I mean, if my husband was
Yeah.
here, he'd be like, I had to make her sit down, like literally sit down.
Girl, you better sit down before you fall down like I did. I fell down.
Oh God.
Everybody comes saying, sit down, sit down. And like I can't take gabapentin. I was on so many narcotics and gabapentin and some other stuff, but all of it together just messed me up. And I dropped my pill and I was trying not to ask nobody to get it. She went to the bathroom my sister for all of a few seconds. And I got up thinking, oh, I can get it. Girl, my world spun. And so did I. I spun, I spun around, hit my back against the wall, and slid down the wall.
Wait, at the hospital?
No, at home.
Oh my goodness.
Then almost fell down the steps. It was
Let me just tell you, when after the surgery was, I believe, 12 hours. And they kept my husband waiting. They kept my husband waiting. So he was going to leave. And I was like, if you would have left and I woke up, I was going to be on the channel 7 news down here with an irate woman asking for her husband. So they wake me up finally, and I'm like, hey, where am I? They're like, you're going to upstairs to your room. So I said, okay, where's my husband? Nurse is like, oh, he's up there, don't worry. So we get in my room, and I'm like, my husband's not here, ma'am. She's like, I'm gonna go get him. So I remember that they took all my stuff and they put it in a little bag.
yeah.
Now I look at the clock, I'm like, is that 11 o'clock? I got here at 8 a.m. What in the world? So I lean up. I just had surgery. I lean up, Christina, and I grab the bag and I grab for my phone and I call him. I'm like, hello, where are you? He's like, I was just about to. I'm like, you were about to just, I said, the F and leave me? You better get up here. He's like, as a matter of fact, I get to spend the night with you. I was
Oh.
like, perfect. Then I hung up the phone with him and I'm like, I have to use the bathroom. So I buzzed for the nurse and she's like, okay, give me a minute. A minute? That's not gonna happen. I got up by myself and she's like, oh my God, what are you doing? You're not supposed to do that. I'm like, ma'am, I had to go to the bathroom. I had to go pee pee. And I made it here by myself. She's like, are you crazy? I could get in trouble for that. You could have fell. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm sitting here, aren't I? I'm good.
Trying to get everybody fired.
I was trying, yeah, she's like, you could get me in trouble. I'm like, I'm fine. Nope, no pain medication. I didn't have any pain medication.
Oh,
They're like, "Are you
wow.
sure you don't need anything?" I'm like, "I'm fine." I'm like, "I just want out of here." Am I getting discharged tomorrow? They're like, "Okay, yes." I'm like, "Okay, perfect." I got discharged
Girl,
about 11 o'clock a.m.
God bless your heart. I took all the pain. Well, I had BII and didn't know it, breast implant illness and capsular contractor. So I didn't know. You remember, I didn't know
Yeah, you didn't know. Yeah, and
had a
then you
lot.
had that during COVID. So
It
you
was,
had to wait, right? You had to wait for the
yeah,
surgery.
well, because of COVID, it was just, it was a mess. But the second surgery, though, when they took the expanders out, did not hurt as bad. So if I would have probably just gone flat initially, I probably would have been in better shape far as the pain and stuff. Because that first one, but it was all because my body was just not.
Rejecting it, right? It was
Yeah,
rejecting it.
yeah, it rejected
See?
as soon as she put it in there. So,
And
um,
that's another thing I was afraid of because I remember what you told me. I had spoke to you, remember?
mhm.
And talking to my friend, and I was like, I don't know, I just don't want it. I Every time I have surgeries, a C-section, I had um MRSA one time through a C-section,
Oh, really?
yeah. So I'm like, I don't know about this. Like I really I look at the infection I got from
Mhm.
even wearing the bra. They say it could be from the bra, but we really don't know. I
Right.
think it's from the bra, but I don't really know. Um Again, I just don't want to go through another surgery and God forbid something happens, you get an
Yeah.
infection and then you have to be cut again and no.
Yeah, it's definitely a personal decision, but yeah,
Definitely. For
I'm
me, I'm okay.
yeah, for me, I don't even know if I'm going back to have the revisions that it would have to be something major for me to go back, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
So now, what is it that you're doing now since your treatment and everything? And you already told us about what your treatment's like now for you as far as going back and forth to the doctor, but also what are you doing far as, are you doing advocacy? I know you're part of Sharsheret.
Yes,
I
I
did
am.
pronounce it right.
Yes, I'm doing that and hopefully just trying to get myself out there more in my area. Volunteering, I want to volunteer. I want to help. I want to do what I can.
Mhm.
Um, my doctor's office, they do a lot of that stuff, so I'm going to get involved more. That's what I want to do. I just want to get more involved into the community for breast cancer, for mental, all
Right.
that. It all combines in one.
So, Sharsheret, can you explain what I know is Jewish, isn't it Jewish? I mean, they don't just not just Jewish people, but I know
Right.
that's like the founding mission.
Yes, I
Yeah.
found them because they helped me. They helped me
Mhm.
through a trying time. And they always kept in contact with me. And then they said, we would like for you to be a
Peer support.
peer
Yeah.
support. And I was like, really? They're like, yes, we think you would be great at it. So I just became that maybe 2 months ago.
That's
So that's the first step there. And they're great. There's a great organization, nonprofit organization, and they help all kinds of women.
right.
Doesn't matter. You don't have to be Jewish. Doesn't matter. Because I'm not Jewish, and they helped me.
Mhm.
Really good. They're really nice. They sent me a welcome gift. I mean, a welcome packet. They send you all kinds of stuff to just get through the process of
Right.
whatever cancer it is. They have something there for you.
Right. Okay. That is good. Yeah, I had never heard of it until you told me. And I was like, oh, let me look them up. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Because
Yeah.
I think there should be more representation of all cultures and races.
Yes.
So when I
Yes.
seen that, I was like, oh wow, I didn't know there was anything out there.
Yes.
That was good to find out. So, is there anything before we get into your song and your word that you want to leave with everyone? Is there anything that you want people to know or anything you want to share with people before we get into all of that?
I just want people to just check their breasts. Women check their breasts. Men do the same thing. You know, if if you feel something, you know your body. So if you feel something, just go. It doesn't hurt to go get it checked out. I know a lot of people are like, I'd rather not go to the doctor because I don't want to hear bad news. But sometimes, how do I say this? You don't want to hear the bad news, but if you wait too long, that bad news could be the bad news that you really didn't want to hear.
Mm,
You know what I mean? If you catch it in time, there's hope. So, I just want people to trust their bodies, trust their instinct. Go get a mammogram. For me, I'm saying this, ladies, don't wait until you're 40. Don't wait until you're 40. Don't wait until you hear the typical 40 check your breast like I did, I mean, thank God I went at 40. Thank God I didn't ignore it. Thank God I listened to my doctor. I said, okay, you gotta go for your mammogram. I'm like, okay, let's do this, and here we are, 8 years later.
yep. Yeah, that's good. So you had a song on your reel.
Yes.
So if you could tell us the name of the song, the name of the artist, and why did you choose that song?
The name of the artist I have a brain for is Look at God.
That is Corinne, I think, Hawthorne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Why? Because God has always had my back. And the song just speaks for itself. Everything that song is me. Is me. That's just everything about it. The song just speaks for itself. I'm always blessed. He's always there for me. And look at God. I mean, look at God, look at me.
I love it. I love that song too. I
I
was like,
love
oh,
that
this is
song.
so perfect.
So that's why I picked it, because I'm like, yep, look at God, look at me. So
Mhm.
he's the reason I'm here. He's the reason why I'm still kicking and fighting. So that's the song.
Okay. And so what's one word that you could leave with everyone and why did you choose that word?
Faith.
Mm,
Faith is a powerful word, right? And I believe that faith goes a long way. No matter what your faith is, faith, like I said, is a powerful word. And I live by faith,
mhm.
right? I think that it's a personal world. It's a personal word as well, but faith is my word because I believe in my faith. I believe in my God. I believe in what I believe in. I believe in faith. I believe that.
Okay.
That's my word. Faith.
Okay,
And
Miss Chris.
faith is also about hope and
Mm,
trust.
right.
So
Yeah,
that's that's
100%.
that's 100%. I think that's what that is.
Yeah, that's so truthful. So, Miss Crystal, I would like to share something with you. And that is, as you were talking the whole time, which I already knew anyway, but outside of, I always, especially when you were telling me some things about like some of the things you've gone through, like, advocating for your family members and things of that nature. I just hear determination, like you're a determined, strong will person. And that goes a long way because for you to have gone through, and I didn't know your some of the stuff you said tonight, I didn't even know. But my thing is, if you've gone through all those things, that takes faith, but it also takes the obedience and the determination to follow what God is putting inside of you. So, and then for you never to give up. That takes strength. It takes the will and the determination to say, regardless, I'm going to stand flat footed on what God has put inside of me and what I know for him to be true in my life and his word to be true, that I'm not going nowhere until he tells me that I have to go somewhere. So I just want to encourage you to continue to share your story, no matter how you feel, even if sometimes it might be a little nervous or fearful or whatever, because we all get that, right? And so my thing is, my one thing is go even in fear, go even in nerves, go regardless, because as he continues to use you, I'm not gonna say it's gonna get easier, but I will say that, as you already know, having that strength and that foundation can send you so many places, and you have no other choice but to go, as you know. So I
Without a
just,
doubt.
so I
Without a
just
doubt.
encourage you to, continue to be strong-willed, continue to knock down them doors. They don't open it. All right, cool. If you know you're supposed to be in that door, do what you
Go
have
on
to
that
do.
door. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
appreciate you for that. I really, really
yeah,
do. And I want to say, women, we need to stick together. We need to be
absolutely.
united. We need to be together. It doesn't matter the race, it doesn't matter the religion. We
Mhm.
need to stick together. We do not need to be against each other.
Right.
We need to complement one another, you know? We don't need the hatred and all of that. We need to love one another. We need to stick together because at the end of the day, we are powerful.
Yep.
Women are powerful, you know, and I'm not saying men aren't. That's not what I'm saying, guys. But I'm just saying we go through a lot as mothers, as wives, you know, sisters, daughters, granddaughters, aunties. You know, we go through a lot, and we have to stick together no matter what.
Right. Yep. And we just have to, yeah, like you said, we have to stick together. And I think the beauty of it is that everybody needs somebody. So if I can't reach a particular person, you may be able to reach them because of what you've gone through that I haven't gone through. I haven't gone through adoption. You have. So
Right.
that's my whole thing. And that's why I also believe in the fact of if I can't help you, I'm gonna send you somebody who I think might
Right.
help you versus me saying, oh no, I don't want you because of jealousy or because that person has this and I don't, or what, like
Right.
it's time out for all of that. And we have to
Yes.
really stick
Yes.
together, not only, like you said, as women, but also as a people. And
Yes.
because it's no reason for it. We're
No.
all here still. If you're still here, you have purpose still inside of you. I don't care in what condition you're in. There's a
One
reason why
hundred
you're still on
percent.
this earth.
Yep.
But yeah, so thank you so much, Crystal, for being up here tonight.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
I'm
one
honored.
more one more thing. Where can
Yes.
people find you? I know it's an Instagram. What's your Instagram?
It's I had to change it. It's Miss, oh my God, Miss Mary.
Yes.
Is it Miss Mary 305? I believe it's
Yes.
Miss Mary 305.
And it'll be in the bio section, but I just want you to say it if you wanted to.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
all right. Well, everyone, this is another
Thank you.
episode. You welcome. This is another episode of Our Scars Speak. Thank you all for watching tonight. And remember that our mental and our physical scars speak a story that can help heal the wound of another. Now, when are you supposed to tell that story? I don't know. And maybe you'll never tell that story. But if you would, just know that it could help someone else. So without further ado, we are going to end this episode and we will see you again soon.
Good
Bye.
night, everyone. Bye.